Nerds International proudly presents
Coming at you live from a swanky hotel in Paris, it's me, Nick Lambslice.
Me, James Pumpkin.
And me, Harrison Hunt, aka your host for the evening.
And we are
The
Tabletop Twats.
Da, 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 da.
Oh, what a lovely intro. It feels like forever since we've been on a regular podcast.
I know, because we did the Dragon Meat one.
Yep.
We've been doing Foreign Beggars.
Been out and about.
Exactly.
Doing
But
this and that.
this is an RPG podcast all about tabletop RPGs. And boy, have we got a show for you today, because this is going to be our RPG awards, isn't it? Which
is.
And we are going to call it
Gen Con. No.
And we're going to call it the 3T RPG Awards 2017.
Yes.
But before we do that, we've got a bit of feedback from the last episodes.
We got a massive backside.
The feedback side. The feedback side. The feedback side. The feedback side. The feedback section. The feedback section. The feedback. Okay, so first of all, we got an email from Owen Lean, and he says, "Right, that's it. I've listened to 30 episodes and this is driving me nuts. What the hell is the lyrics in the closing theme? It sounds like he's saying gangster 4 years of magic. But I know that's not right. Please enlighten me and let me sleep at night."
Oh, he rhymes
This
as well.
came in a while ago, so
Yeah.
he might be in some kind of like
he's been ill.
insomnia.
He's been ill recently.
Oh, is he? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon this is why.
Yeah,
He hasn't been able to sleep
stress.
still.
Right, well, it's saying, "Larry, stop pointing that fucking gun." It's
At
a
my
quote
dad.
At my dad. It's a quote from Reservoir Dogs.
Box, it is
Yes.
indeed, yes.
And then we got another one from GM Jeff. He says, "Being half a twit Brit myself, I really appreciate Over the Pond podcasts. Love the show. Well done.
Cheers.
Thanks, Jeff."
Yeah, nice
Cheers.
one, Jeff. Okay, next one up is from Eli Kurtz. I think this is a message in regards to
following the Blackwood ep.
Blackwood ep. Okay. And Eli says, "I love it, man. Thanks so much for going in depth with the book. It sounds like you guys really grokked the setting." Is that right? Grokked.
Grokked is an orc word, and it means understood.
Wicked.
Yes.
You mentioned missing an Asian race. I wanted to avoid stereotyping any real-world races with the mechanics, but the elder folk are visually Asian, Tibetan specifically. I definitely hear you about the lack of Asian monsters, though. There are a couple. The hopping ghoul is based on the Chinese hopping vampires, and the dragon is long and sinewy, like an Asian dragon. But I'll have to add a few more in the supplements I plan to release." There you go.
Nice.
So, essentially, we were slightly wrong about the Blackwood.
Yes.
But
It's not the first time we've been wrong.
yeah, we're nothing if not idiots.
Yes.
The thing is, we were wrong before about the Street Fighter one,
Yep.
but that was mainly Peter, who we had on as a guest. So,
But we were also wrong about Card Against Humanity. Probably. Sorry, Steve.
no, we weren't wrong about Cards Against Humanity. That was Steve Jackson who was wrong about that.
Oh yeah, of course. He got it wrong. He thought he released it when he didn't.
I mean, he's a fool.
He got wild at a party and
all
was
this-
like, "Do you know, yeah, that's me."
All this time, he keeps on editing his own Wikipedia to say that he released it, and he didn't. He's a liar.
He just loves that game.
He wants to be responsible for it. This was like all those years ago when Hideo Kojima, the bloke who wrote Metal Gear Solid,
Yeah.
now on a news site I saw there was a news story that was Hideo Kojima wishes he wrote Breaking Bad, and it's like, how is that news? It's like,
great.
I think we all wish we wrote Broken Bad.
yeah, exactly, yeah, because I'd have a lot of money.
And it's exactly, and it's good. Oh god! Right, next one.
Got another thing from G Plus, right? So we went to a game in Dragon Meat where we played Tales from the Loop, right? And Matt Stark, somebody who's supposed to be a fan of us, right? He commented on this picture where the GM of our Tales from the Loop game posted a picture of me and Nick sitting at his game, and he just said, he posted this picture online, and Matt Stark, a listener of our show, says, "Sounds like a great time. Hopefully those two twats, Harrison and Nick, were able to keep their obnoxious language to a minimum with a youngster at the table." How is this guy a fan of ours? Like,
Obnoxious language.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Hopefully
then-
these two arseholes didn't.
And the GM, thankfully, comes in with, yep, they were very well behaved, ideal players.
Lovely, winky
I mean,
face. Look at
do you know, we're not like this all the time, Matt. we are actually nice people usually. We don't
We're just angry on this podcast.
Yeah, we don't just stay in this mode all the time.
If we're out in public, then we have to sort of dim it down a bit.
Yeah,
You
and
lot are nice all the time, and a potty mouth.
he's not, right. We saw him had a few drinks at Dragon Meat. He is not nice all the time. Second of all, we do know that when children are about, you don't just use the C word left, right, and centre. We're not thick.
I'll tell you what, it's hilarious if my when we game at mine and my daughter's around.
Yeah.
It's so funny the amount of times that there's been a little bit of muck up. Harrison he's been more accustomed to it, so he tends to do quite well. And then you do that kind of racist joke. Look around, like you say, look around before you tell it.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, and the thing, and he says, oh for goodness sake.
And all of the NPCs in my games will be like, go flip yourself, you flips, and I'm gonna go and flip you right in the arms.
For fudge's sake.
Yeah. Whereas Ryan, one of the guys at our table, he's terrible with it. He'll just be like, oh, I'm gonna cunt you right in the cunt, you cunt.
And he's never even held a child, I don't think so.
No, and then he just looks over to the right, and Layla's sitting there reading a book, and then like 30 seconds later, then he puts his hands over his mouth in shock and
Go, oh shit, sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, one of those.
Oi! Yeah? What you slaying?
So this is what you've been slaying, where we talk about what we've been playing. James.
Yes.
Shoot.
Hello. Shoot who? Who shall I shoot?
What? Shoot.
Oh my god.
You're so lucky I'm bad
I
shot.
just got shot at point blank range and he missed.
So Nick got a Nerf gun for Christmas. So that's the word of the podcast, ladies and
If
gentlemen.
anyone says that word, they get shot.
Thanks, good night.
So James,
Yeah.
say what you've been playing.
Right. Mr. Clark, I have been playing Harry Potter and the Tabletop RPG with my daughter Layla. It started off as not your typical start because I did a kind of day zero scenario because it was her first ever introduction into tabletop RPGing. I did it so that a lot of the story was built up as we started. So as soon as we started, she told me her background and she conjured up a great character. Right, they're all 11-year-old and they're all freshmen.
What's
and
that
she
mean?
conjured up what?
Freshman.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
Freshman.
Fresh.
Exactly that.
Have a guess.
Freshmen. I don't know. They went to university.
New. No, it's not uni, bro. This is school. 11-year-old freshman.
Okay. I thought it was an Americanism.
It is.
Okay, cool.
But they're fresh men.
Yeah.
So your
New
daughter
people.
was playing a fresh man.
No, she.
So she was like a really cool hip hop.
Sunglasses.
Oh my God, so fresh.
So yeah, so your daughter's going to like a wizard school, like so she's playing like a Will Smith.
She's a
type. Go on.
newbie.
Yeah.
She's
and
new.
she goes, no, it's not.
Okay, go on. So she's playing like Will Smith. Go
No,
on.
she played a person called Ruby Jenkins, a muggle-born...
Yo, I'm Ruby Jenkins. Yo.
Shut up.
Let's be fresh.
Shut up. Muggle-born, fostered from loving parents into the wizarding world at 7. She still sees her real family once a month.
But she had to go and live with her auntie and uncle in Bel Air.
Yeah, pretty much. It was because she had... Shut
She
up.
got into one little fight and Among Us
Right.
and then before you knew it.
Right, cut the crap. Right, shh.
Was it good?
I'm going to cut this down now then because you guys keep talking over and
No,
talking
I'm
about
joking.
Fresh
I'm
Prince.
joking. Go on.
Sorry, no, go on.
Fucking let me speak, yeah?
No,
How
go on.
about that?
Okay, no, it sounds really good.
All the questions keep getting asked. Fresh Prince. Yeah, basically, he's a black guy, and he gets into trouble a lot. And Uncle Phil, yeah,
Come on, tell us.
No, I actually. Okay, was it good?
I do want to know.
yeah. Look, episode 1 all started in the house as she was getting ready to go to Hogwarts, and it was great because it was very heavy on role play, like I intended, because I wanted to see her imagination flourish, and it was fantastic. She was really taken in by everything. She really enjoyed everything. We had a Harry Potter OST in the background, and it was awesome. And yeah, afterwards she thought it was great. I later ran a session with my brother involved as well, and he really enjoyed it. Again, it was slightly different to your typical RPG because they're all noobs, and I was just trying to bring them in softly. But my point is, it was great. She loved it. He loved it. He loves it.
We love it. We love it.
We love it. And I plan on keeping it going as long as possible. With keeping it open for drop-ins. So
Did she do a voice?
oh, you know what? I can't even remember. No, she didn't. Not to begin with.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. Yeah, I mean, shoot me an invite if you ever.
Yeah, I will. Don't.
Okay, so
Me and Harrison just realised the word we said and both peered in.
So a bit slow.
all right. So next up we've been playing Gotham: Call of Cthulhu, which is our ongoing Batman game. At the moment, right, I'm going to skip over a lot here, but it's kind of a monster of the week type thing, right? I've had 2 characters die. First off was King Wee Wee, who I really liked.
No. The pirate was first.
No, yeah, well, the pirate died, and that was unfortunate. But I wanted to talk about because he died in kind of a boring way. It was PvP type thing, but like King Wee Wee was awesome because it was the first time I'd ever really researched magic in Call of Cthulhu, and I wanted him to be kind of like a voodoo type guy. Yeah. And I said to Peter, "Can I have just 3 spells from the book?" And he was like, yeah. And then so I even rolled for insanity for learning those spells before I'd even started the game. And then had 3 spells. So I had one of them was it Craft Wanga, which was a voodoo spell. yeah. And we all got involved, didn't we? We're trying to
enchant a hat, didn't we?
We're trying to enchant a hat to make it into a Wanga so that we could put it onto villains' heads.
That's it. Yeah.
And that was the whole point. And then what was it? I said to we were trying to fight Deadshot. No, Deathstroke.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
during that fight, because I didn't have any fighting abilities except for making voodoo dolls, I tried to make a voodoo doll of him
in a grave.
Whilst I was in a grave because we were fighting him in a graveyard. And instead of doing it in 3 days, I did it in 6 seconds. Yes,
went insane.
And
and take a massive penalty for it.
Yeah, Pete said, okay, yeah, you can do that, but instead of taking the D10 sanity loss, you're going to take a D100. And I was like, okay, fair, that makes sense. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm going to risk it, fuck it. And then I did it, took 85 sanity loss, immediately shot myself in the head, and then that was it.
That was it, literally it.
No magic. And then of course after that, I'm now playing Man. He's the man his full name's Manfred Manson, but he's like his character that is that he doesn't have a character.
He's unequivocally born into anything.
Your previous character died, and now you're playing Bert.
I'm playing Bert Rockford. He's a geologist.
I like the fact that his name has the fact that he's into rocks in his name.
Did he change that by default?
What's his superhero persona?
His pseudonym is the Stoner.
Because he stones people.
And because he smokes weed.
Yeah, of course. And I like the fact that he's also like a really obvious psychopath.
Well, he
likes mutilating women.
Well, no. He's this is what it is, right? He's never had any friends. He's forever alone, right? So he doesn't understand how to act socially. So he says things without thinking, really. And then there was an in-game discussion going on. Then he just dropped in there. Oh yeah, I like to. What is it? I think I'd like to like strangle women or something like that.
So the best bit was like we've sort of since discovered that Batman is really not good for this city, and one of the things that Batman likes to do is have sex with prostitutes, kill them, and then because he doesn't want to dispose of the bodies, he just has a big net in the Batcave where he just chucks them and they decompose, and it's just full of prostitute skeletons.
Full of corpses.
There's loads of prostitute skeletons down there. And while we were discussing the fact that we were going to try and kill Batman, I was just like, my character Man, he's like, well, he's got loads of prostitute skeletons in a net, and then suddenly James's character very quietly just went, I like his style, and then I was just like, and so I think that we should kill him, and that like little line just really went out, like fell under the radar. Nick, you're still on your first character,
man,
because your character Stephen Kong, who's the town's local butcher, and he was originally called he was just called the Chopper, wasn't he?
Yeah, originally he was the Chopper, yeah.
And then he changed his superhero persona to the Shank.
Yeah.
As in lamb shank, but also as in he stabs people. But his superpower really is that he rolls well because he's a big fat bloke.
He's a big fat guy,
and then
yeah.
he rolls up to people and then chops them up.
Real nice, yeah.
And,
It's just a really good weapon.
But he, the whole setting is absolutely nuts. And we've discovered that Batman's kind of the bad guy, and we killed him on his plane in the best. Well, one of the best boss encounters we've ever had, because we sort of called Batman up, went, oh, by the way, Batman, we've done the mission, come and pick us up in the Batwing. And then we picked him up, and our plan was just sort of either to crash the plane or just to beat him up. We were just going to crash the plane and then just jump out. And then while we were trying to crash the plane, we realised it had some sort of auto-writing mechanic, which happened when we were only a few feet from the ground. So it was mashing up people left, right and centre.
We didn't realise, but we were just killing loads of townsfolk.
Thousands, maybe not thousands, but hundreds of people.
Good few hundred, yeah.
Yeah, High Street.
So there was just like absolute blood.
We were going through the theatre district.
And people were just dying left, right and centre while we were on board just punching Batman, like fucking wailing on him, just trying to stab him, shoot him.
Yeah, we had during the combat, we had the obviously the normal turns as normal, but we also had incorporated a what's happening to the plane turn, so that as soon as it cycled round, Pete could tell us, okay, you're this close to the theatre district, or okay, you're now mashing up people. So it was like at those moments where we'd realise what was happening, because obviously his Batwing's pretty fast, and then basically by the end of the combat, it was just like, you've decimated at least 150, 200 people now. They're splattered all over the Batwing and they're all dead, and it's just like, oh god.
Yeah, it was horrible. But in addition to that, I mean, we played Tales from the Loop. That's awesome. We won't talk too much about that because we got a lot of awards to get through in the main subject.
But we will say about that episode that really opened the eyes of our friend Ryan, right? And he fell in love with it instantly. He was so amazed. He's quite an artistic guy and he loved the artwork. And then telling him that it spawned from an art book, he was even more captivated by it.
Yeah,
so we all come together.
It's a good game as well if you're intimidated by DMing, because you don't have to roll anything.
No, that's right. Yeah.
So that's one thing I wanted to point out about that. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's a couple of other games we played recently, but we won't get into them. The DCC actual play is something that we're really, really fucking enjoying. But I think some of our fans get annoyed about us talking about DCC all the time. So go and listen to those, because we put a lot of hard work into those, and we'll. I think you'll enjoy them because we've got they're quite cinematic and enjoyable. I think you'll get a kick out of them. But next we're going to move on to the main subject, which is the 3T RPG Awards 2017.
Yes!
Hurrah!
Good day! Did you get the has the vol au vents, are they out? The buffet's ready?
Yeah, we got the champagne.
Excellent.
And the butler is bringing that in.
Excellent.
What's his name?
Jesus.
Main. Subject. Main. Subject. Sorry.
So it's the end of 2017, and obviously we've done a lot of shit this year.
Yeah.
And we wanted to sort of mark this with an awards ceremony, a prestigious awards ceremony.
Yeah.
And we're going to give out a lot of awards. Okay.
Yes.
Now, what people are going to notice about this is a lot of this stuff didn't come out in 2017 and things like this. Now, this is because we don't believe that things should necessarily get awards simply because they came out in a year.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Well done.
Yeah, well done.
You got released.
You look at the Oscars, right, and you look at how bad some of the films are getting awards for that.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad got more Oscars than fucking what was it? Shawshank Redemption. Simply because you have to award things that come out in that year, and that's not how we want to do things.
Nah.
So a lot of the stuff that is going to get awards awards in here is just because it's stuff that we experienced in this year,
Exactly.
and that we think deserves some recognition.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's how we're always going to do it. That's how we're going to do it next year as well. If you think that's a bad way of doing an award ceremony, we've got a special. Fuck off.
Go watch
And
something else.
Secondly, we've got a special email address set up for that. It is fuckoff@kissmyass.com. Before we give out the awards, I'll just talk a little bit about how we did the nominations. Each category has 3 nominations, and that's because we each nominated one thing.
Yep.
Simple as that. And then we all discussed each category and decided on a winner.
Yeah, that's simply it.
Yeah, and that's it. So, without any ado, we'll get on with it. So the first category is Best Product. And the nominees are DCC RPG Core Rules by Goodman Games, Dice Trays from All Rolled Up, and Mutant Cruel Classics 14-piece dice set by Goodman Games. And the winner is Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG Core Rules by Goodman Games. So, yeah, what do you think? What do you think of this winner, guys? Very deserved winner?
Yeah.
Or complete sham?
No, not at all.
Very deserved.
It's a great book, let's be honest. It's we loved it, didn't we? To be
Yeah,
honest, since we've been getting stuck into DCC, we've got to admit it's fantastic.
I mean, say what you will about the rule set. If anybody out there disagrees or doesn't like it, it's the biggest book I own on my shelf, and it quite simply, there's no other product out there, in my opinion, that gives you as much and at higher quality than this does.
At such a reasonable price as well.
Exactly. It was £25, and every single page in there gives you something worthwhile. And that's why I think it was such a worthy winner here.
Yeah, totally.
The others were obviously very, very good contenders, but this is just so spectacular. I think it really, really knocks out the park.
Totally got me into old school dungeon crawling, and I never thought I'd really. I mean, I've always liked the idea of it, but there's so many other RPGs out there that I wanted to get my teeth stuck into before that, and that's changed my outlook. I think DCC totally.
And I'd say that DCC has now overtaken Pathfinder for me, which is pretty big, bold statement, big claim.
And it's got everything in there. I mean, it's got comedy, it's got serious, and it's got like it's got just many
new ideas. The whole bit is like, well, why don't you try using some Play-Doh?
Yeah, and it's got options. It's got so many options as well, and like it's got all the toolkits needed to do pretty much everything in that type of fantasy. So that's why I think that it's such a big and useful tool and toolbox of a book. So yeah, for me, it was a no-brainer for this should win. So yeah,
absolutely.
And the next category is for Worst Product. And the nominees are Tales from the Loop Dice by Modifius Entertainment, 20th Anniversary Deadlands Kickstarter Stretch Goal Bookmarks by Pinnacle Entertainment Group, and GURPS Basic Set by Steve Jackson Games. And the winner is 20th Anniversary Deadlands Kickstarter Stretch Goal Bookmarks by Pinnacle Entertainment Group.
Yes. Well deserved, I think.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, when we were discussing this winner, it was like, does this count as a product? Because it was a freebie, and it's like...
No, but it was a stretch goal. They should have put that in anyway, because it's a pamphlet, and then they could have made a more decent
It's got an
stretch goal.
advert at the back.
That's the worst thing. If it had no advert on the back, you could get away with it as just being a bit of a, we had a bit of card left over, let's give them some bookmarks. That's nice.
It is. If you're giving that away for free, right, with something, and you're just saying, here's a freebie, it's a bookmark,
Lovely.
but it's an advert. But no, that's a stretch goal.
Yeah, that was a stretch goal. So they wanted more money, so that
but not a little
to
bit
that
of money.
level, and then you'd get a bookmark, which you would think, okay, well, it's a stretch goal. I'm going to put a bit of effort into it. It's a bit of card with a fucking advert on the back.
Yeah, but not only that, the additional amount of money for the stretch goal.
Yeah, that wasn't the first stretch goal. Oh no!
I mean, that is It is a product. It is something they produced, and it is something that they asked for money for, and it's got a fucking advert on it. Okay, I understand that sometimes you get, for example, even the DCC book has adverts in the back, right? But that's 2 pages out of a fucking 500-page book. This is a bookmark,
and they're quite quirky because they're getting with the old school feel.
Right, and that bookmark. That's literally half the product. Yeah. That's one side of it, right? And when you brought them round,
oh man,
I couldn't stop laughing. I was so bewildered with how fucked up that was. That's like the most pinnacle move I've ever seen in my life.
And the bookmarks are tiny, and the book you got with the whole bloody Kickstarter was an A4 book. So how is that going to get lost? It was shameless. It was bad. It was naughty.
Yeah, I mean that is, and that was another hard category, man. Because if that beat the Tales from the Loop dice, you know you fucked up.
Poor, they're so poor.
So yeah, well done, Pinnacle, for being the worst product we've seen this year with the 20th anniversary.
People might want to know why GURPS got on there. It was my thinking. I'm not sure if you remember from a previous podcast, but we both got a bit disgruntled the fact that they sliced the GURPS book in half and sold it as 2 books, which should really have just been 1 book. But the GURPS, the setting, incredible. Love it to bits.
Yeah, it's a good book, but so I mean, it's got redeeming features, but the bookmark really doesn't.
Oh, the bookmark takes it just takes it. Runaway winner. And the next category is Best Damn Goblin Game. And the nominees are Saga of the Goblin Horde by Richard Woolcock, Saga of the Goblin Horde by Richard Woolcock, and lastly, Saga of the Goblin Horde by Richard Woolcock. And the winner is, this is going to be a tough one, Saga of the Goblin Horde by Richard Woolcock. Yay!
Right, so this is something that might happen as the competition goes on. We did say if 2 people want to nominate the same thing, they can. And believe it or not, this wasn't just us trying to be twee, trying to be funny. There are other Goblin games that could have been nominated. It's just that we all felt that this was our favourite.
Yep, absolutely.
We've talked about this to death on this podcast, realistically, but there is competition. There is, but in our mind, this was all our favourite, right?
Yeah, this blows all the other competition out of the water.
I agree, and I think that this is my favourite for a reason, because this is a setting that anyone gets, right? See, with other Goblin games, it might be, oh, you're this type of Goblin, or it's supposed to be played this type of way. No, with Saga of the Goblin Horde, have fun, play it how the fuck you want to play it. It's cartoonish fun. You're a goblin, and if you want to just let loose and play it how you want to fucking play it, and you want to be a nutcase, or you want to be this, you want to be that. Like, you remember we had somebody at the table trying to play it like a posh goblin, right? And he was rejected because he was a posho. do that if you want it.
Yeah.
Or if you just want to be a nutter that just like fucks everything he sees, and he's called Count Funkula.
Yeah, do that. Yeah.
Do that.
But you've got minions, all that stuff.
But if you want to play this game with your kids and play it more like
family friendly,
and play it like a cartoon, absolutely you can do that too.
Versatile, isn't it?
That's the beauty of this game.
Yeah.
It's
very versatile and written by a genius.
Exactly.
And free.
And the mechanics, it's a free setting for Savage World. And that's just it, the mechanics are just spectacular, because you've got the minions as well, where you can just chuck them in front of things and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
And this because we had so much fun playing this. Remember, we had one of the best PvPs that we've ever seen.
Oh my god!
Where two guys were fighting each other, and every time they landed a hit, they'd chuck a minion in front of the hit, and every time they hit, they were also landing the biggest hits I've ever seen in Savage Worlds. They were doing 48 damage, 70 damage, 60 damage, and it was just like, shit, I don't want to take that damage. I chuck a minion in front of it.
Gets splattered.
And then when it came to the final encounter, none of them had any minions left, so they were just absolutely fucked. But yeah, that's just a testament to how great this game can work.
Totally.
I absolutely love it.
Check it out now on Drive Through RPG.
Yes, please do. The next category is Best RPG Retailer, and the nominees are Leisure Games, Drive Through RPG, and The Dice Shop Online. And the winner is Leisure Games.
Yes.
Hurrah!
Had to be, really.
So yeah, it had to be. I mean, we bought so much stuff from this bloody shop that our podcast name. They don't listen to our podcast, but we got recognised by them when we bought from them in Dragon Meet. They were like,
face to face.
I recognise you, and I was like, yeah, I'm the guy from the pod, and I was about to be like, yeah, I'm that guy from the podcast, and the guy was like, yeah, you bought a lot of stuff from us, and I was like, oh.
We funded our Christmas party on you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, pretty much. And obviously, then you can't just define a retailer by the fact that you buy a load of stuff from them.
No, let's break it down.
No, but they got great
One of the things
stuff.
I like is every single item they have is individually packaged in a nice little bag.
Yeah, that's cool. And they've got old books, but in mint condition.
Yep.
Like they've just been printed. I don't know where the fuck they get them
God
from.
knows, yeah.
It
They've
was
got a butt
crazy.
ton of supplements, so even if you're looking for that long lost little supplement that you thought, AD&D had back in the 80s, chances are, get down there, you might find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of all their old stuff and all wrapped up in perfect condition and all that, actually seeing, because I haven't visited the actual shop in
Oh, it's
London
lovely.
myself, but I visited the shop they had at Dragon Meet,
Yes.
and it was ridiculous. It was packed, and it was like
Tidy.
It was like everything was all packaged up perfectly, and it was just really clean and amazing. I picked up a few books, like we just mentioned. They were from the 80s, and I was just like, I don't get how this is pristine. Like, what's happened? Like, did they find an abandoned warehouse? Did someone just look after this stuff and give it to them? I don't get it. I just don't get it. But it's cracking, amazing, and we've bought loads of stuff from them. Well deserved.
Well, that's just it. I mean, like you said, they must kill RPG people.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just figured it out.
Maybe they shoot them.
We should probably cut this out.
Well, I thought that they maybe had like an enchanted printing press, or either that, or a wizard in the basement that's
both.
like locked away.
it's
and he
gotta be a
enchants
basement
all
wizard.
The books and stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what I was thinking. But no, Leisure Games, well done, good service, good people. Online stuff's brilliant.
And the next category is Best RPG Accessory. And the nominees are RPG Wrap from All Rolled Up, Dice Bags from Amelia Hunt Handmade, and the Game Anywhere table by Transforming Designs Incorporated. And the winner is RPG Wrap from All Rolled Up.
Yes, mate. So Nick, come on, take us on a journey through the RPG wrap.
The RPG.
So is it sort of like you got lentils, lettuce?
yeah,
is that what
you
you're
mix
talking?
it, some
Garlic.
dice, sprinkling some dice over the top.
Garlic and herb sauce on top.
Garlic and herbs. Yeah, very nice. The all rolled up wrap is a very nice piece of kit. It keeps all your pencils and dice and your little notebook all together, rolls up into a nice little handy thing that you can bang in your bag. It's brilliant. I'll swear by it, to be honest with you. I've been using it for about 6 months now. No signs of wear or tear. It's very nicely made. It's a decent product, and it keeps all my bits together. I'm very pleased with it. It's I like my dice.
It looks smart too, like
Yeah.
an Indiana Jones type thing.
Absolutely, yeah. You get to roll it out in front of everybody. There's an infinite amount of variations you can get. So there's definitely something for someone, and there's also varying price ranges as well. So if you want to give someone something, or you want to you want a bit of a budget or whatever, you don't have to blow a lot of money to get one.
Yeah, because they got varying different levels, haven't
Yes,
they? Because they got ones with like metal buckles on them that are made of leather and or things like this. But then they've got other ones which are like made of lighter material, which have a
Exactly.
picture of a cat on it or something.
Exactly, whatever you like, whatever
I remember the
floats
first
your boat,
time.
man. Yeah.
I remember the first time Nick rolled it out in front of us, and we just
Hello, what was it all rolled up?
What night was
It
that?
was.
Hey!
and we were like, "Oh man, that's so sexy." We thought it was amazing, and ever since Nick bought it, he hasn't used anything else.
No, not at all. Yeah, it's a must-have for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So visit their website as well, and they do very good service as well because
We got to meet the guy.
yeah, we
I
did
was a bit
get
drunk though.
yeah, me too. We got
Yeah, but I
to
met him
meet
as
him
well.
at Dragon Meet.
Yeah.
and we were all a bit pissed.
But it was lovely, lovely
Yeah,
guy.
he's a very
We bought
very
all
nice
this
guy.
Cthulhu hack stuff.
No, the thing is, they do very, very good service as well because
they
recently I ordered something from their website and well, actually maybe I shouldn't say this, but it did go a little bit missing, but that's not his fault. That's the
No.
fault of Royal Mail.
Wasn't it?
But I sent him an email and on Christmas Eve, and he got back to me. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, really nice bloke.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy, and they got some decent products there. Dice trays are banging. Customer service is fantastic.
Yeah, so All Rolled Up is the best accessory. I mean, we're talking about this company now, but they're the best accessory that you can get for RPGs, period.
And the next category is best system. And the nominees are DCC RPG by Goodman Games, Savage Worlds by Pinnacle Entertainment Group, and Year Zero System by Modifius Entertainment. And the winner is Savage Worlds. Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, we ragged on Pinnacle earlier for doing some pretty shitty stuff.
Yeah, but
and
quite a hefty discussion went into this winner, to be honest.
yeah, it really did, and we stayed up quite late talking about this. It's the thing about the Pinnacle is we're not talking about the company here. We're just talking about the system, and we love the system. I'm hot and cold with it sometimes, but the thing is, after going to ShakeOn and after playing a lot of it this year, and after writing some adventures for it, it's no mistake. I love it. I really, really, really love it, and it's a versatile system that can be used to do a lot. And there are some things that I would not use it for.
Yeah,
but undoubtedly, it's been my favourite system that I played this year, because it just does so much, and there are so many different things that it can be used for, that really, really blow my mind. And it's the versatility of it is undoubtable. I love talking about it. I love the little nuances of it. I love the cinematic moments that it can create. Through
excitement. Oh my God.
Through its mechanics, and playing Lankmar this year, and the Aliens versus Rednecks and Winter Eternal and things like this. It's just been amazing. Yeah. And as well, I have played mainly one-shots and things like this, but one of the best campaigns I played this year was Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay in Savage Worlds, and that was an all-time life top 3 campaigns for me.
So good, wasn't it?
Yeah, and so that for me has elevated this system to being like, okay, it's a cool system, to being like, actually, yeah, I
think it's quite noob friendly as well. It's a pick up and play system. Like Pete, he was coming out for his first GMing for a campaign, and he went for Savage World. Oh no, he didn't. He went for Cthulhu. What I'm talking about.
No, his first GMing, he did do Savage World.
Sorry, it was his first one. That's right. Not
Batman
was his first one.
He did Daring Tales of the Space
That's
Lanes.
it, exactly. And he picked it up, and he said that he felt comfortable with the rules. The same as me. My first ever campaign, zombie game, I used Savage Worlds, and I felt comfortable with it. It's a very new GM friendly system, I think,
and new player friendly as well.
Exactly. Because one of the things that, I mean, this is a very, very simple way to put it, but it's just a way I've not heard it put before. My friend Katie, who's previously struggled with RPGs, not in a like, oh, I don't get it kind of way, but in a way that she doesn't necessarily enjoy it. Yeah. She sat down and played Savage Worlds for the first time, played Lankmar with us. Yeah. And she's not a big fantasy type person. What she said is that she understood the rules. She understood the numbers on her character sheet, not only in a way that how it affected her character, but also how it affected the world as well. Okay. It's like, okay, this higher dice means that I'm good at it, but also I know how it affects the rules too, because I need to get over a 4, and a higher dice means that's more likely to happen. That's nice. I mean, that's obvious. It's obvious, but then in another game, you look at all these fucking numbers on the sheet, and you're just like, what the fuck does all this mean? As a
because
noob.
You might not necessarily,
gauge, isn't it? Yeah, definitely.
Like in other systems, you might not necessarily need to go over a 4. It might just be a 5, or it might be a 50.
Well, you might not know.
The difficulty is so like massively variant in other systems. So
exactly, and also like I say to you, roll at a -2 because of the rain or whatever. It's so easy to understand for noobs, and like that.
That's to explain.
Yeah, but also as you get better and you start to know it, the more that you understand, the more it starts to become fun, and that is why, for me, it's number 1.
I was during this discussion, I was saying that it kind of has to go to this, because although obviously we rant and rave and absolutely love DCC, and that's taken over Pathfinder from me, which was my preferred system and my favourite, Savage Worlds overtook it purely because it's proven and tested that I've played tons this year of Savage Worlds.
It's like our go-to system.
Yeah, in so many different worlds and all this stuff, and it's just like, but it works for all of them, for every single one. Yeah. It's like, I don't think realistically we've had a shit Savage Worlds campaign. You know what I mean? No. And they've all been fantastic. So it just had to, didn't it? And the next category is worst system, and the nominees are Fusion, by R. Talzorian Games. Fatal, or the Mean System, by Fatal Games and Byron Hall. Hybrid game by Matthew, aka C++. And the winner is Fusion by R. Talzorian Games.
I have to say it's a disappointing one, isn't it? The thing is, it's like I know there's going to be a lot of people out there that talk about the system and how they there's so many worse ones out there and all of this, but for us it was kind of like we played Bubblegum Crisis and it took an anime that I absolutely loved and
Same. I super enjoyed it as well.
and boiled it down to its most boring components. That system is just so it's boring. That's what it is. You're always rolling the same stuff. It's about action, right? And it's a cyberpunk universe. And you look at how the varying range of different shit that Shadowrun gets you to do.
Yep.
And all of the like fun that game has injected into it, and all of the big fun factor that has. And then you look at Fusion and how it treats cyberpunk. And it's abysmal. It's like it's okay. It's functional. Okay, it does work, and there's no necessarily terribleness to it.
No.
But how can you take cyberpunk and make it dull?
Yeah, it's true. Come on.
Yeah, I mean that for me is a crime. To take Bubblegum Crisis, a setting which is incredible, and to treat it like that,
it could have been so much more.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's why I think the fusion system is a bad one. And people talk about crunch in that system. I disagree, but I think that it doesn't. It's disappointing because it does things that just there's no fun. There's no fun.
I think as sort of like a retrospective outlook on it, I think it was difficult for the players and the GM to immerse themselves in it, and I think it was more difficult for the GM, you Harrison, to make it a bit more fast paced, make it a bit more crunchy. I think you had to put way more thought into more of the mechanics and what was actually happening, rather than where you just go with the flow and just be like, okay, I know this is like Call of Cthulhu's brutal system. Savage Worlds can be brutal if it's set up that way, and so you just roll the dice and see what happens. Whereas this was like, I need to think about what I want to happen, then I need to I just need to think way more about it.
Healing was incredibly weird. We'd get banged up and literally spend half an episode just trying to get back on track.
I rather liked that.
I enjoyed that aspect, but
no, the time and money that was it was unless you had a hospital, it was like you needed an incredible amount of cash.
And I will say that for me felt like that was a leftover from Cyberpunk 2020, their previous game, and I didn't ever feel like that was the case in Bubblegum Crisis either, which to me felt like they weren't treating the source material with respect, despite the fact that in the book it felt like they were, but when it came to the game mechanics it didn't feel like they were. So the fusion system is pretty bad overall. I've got the Zorro game up there, which I think would be a laugh for a one shot or maybe a four part adventure, something like that. That Gary kindly sent us. I don't necessarily know, because I think that would be very combat heavy, and the combat was fun.
Totally.
See, when we did combat heavy sessions, that was good.
It was an enjoyable game.
It was an enjoyable game.
Absolutely.
Because we kept it short.
But
when we started it, we were like, I can't wait to do this for like fucking 8 months or some shit like this.
Yeah.
And then when we got into it, we were like, I see. Let's keep this one short. So fuck Fusion.
Fair play.
If that beats Fatal, you know you've really fucked it.
Well, the thing is though, Fatal, it's same as Hybrid. The other two nominees, they're so bad. I'd even go as far as to say they're probably unplayable.
They're unplayable. Whereas if you played this, it's going to give you really like a sort of really terrible feeling, and that's sort of almost worse.
Definitely. Yeah. And the next category is Best Company, and the nominees are Goodman Games, Just Insert Imagination, Modifius Entertainment. And the winner is Goodman Games.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, man, these guys are sweeping it. But yeah, Goodman Games, man, they're the best company. They're the best company, man. Because they saved me from drowning when I was a little boy.
No, they're not only. We're not saying they're the best company just because we've fallen in love with
there's more to it
DCC.
than that.
I think that what they do as well for their indie scene is incredible.
Yeah.
See, Pinnacle, they do the fan license thing, right? But they've got all these like fucking stipulations and blah blah blah, where it's like, okay, yeah, you can publish for us, but it has to be PG-13. Anyway, Goodman Games, right? They've got this thing where they support their indie developers so much to the point where they allow them to sell via their storefront on their website. So they're supporting their competition, which I think is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And not only that, but they have a community magazine called the Gone Farmers Almanac. Where they collate all community stuff. So they just get submissions and then they make a magazine out of it.
Yeah.
Every month. They sell it via their website if you want a print copy, or the magazine is free to download via PDF. And then every year they create the whole thing via like an annual where you can buy the whole book, and that book is only £10, right? So they support
For a year's worth of content.
yeah, and they support their community. And this year they decided to get the whole community together to create a setting.
Yeah.
They said it was hell to make apparently, but they did it, and it's amazing. They do all kinds of stuff like that. They
What stuff you were telling me about? If you want to push the good word out and get your friends involved, they do. What is it they do?
They send stuff out to you.
That's
So
it, yeah.
so yeah, if you're running games publicly, they said even if you're just running a game in a pub,
Yep.
they'll send you increasingly cooler stuff throughout the year. So. Yeah, they'll send you like. Firstly, they'll send you a big pad of character sheets and bookmarks, right? Nice ones without advertising on them, and the bookmarks are actually they're character sheets as well.
On the back, yeah. You can use dry white marker on them, and they're a little mini character sheet. See, that's a useful bookmark.
Yeah.
Not a shameless advert.
Yeah, so they'll send you
mate.
stuff for use with your public games to give out to people, and then the second time you do it, right, you just sign up again, and they'll send you more stuff like pencils and things like this to give out. And then if you run a 13th like public game in a year, they'll send you a plaque to put on your wall with judge and then your name on it.
So cool.
But the way they support their community is just incredible. They love the people that run their games, and it's real. It doesn't feel like a cynical thing to make them seem cool.
Yeah.
It seems real.
They got
right?
a big heart.
I'll tell you what, looking at those bookmarks, right, that's the perfect level of advertising, because one side is just, it says DCC RPG, great artwork, the other side is a character sheet. So there's no, this is a website link, this is an email address, this is whatever.
That's done properly.
Yeah. It's like the way they're advertising it is to try to get people to run public games, because they know their fucking games are good enough that if you run it and play it, you'll be like, yeah, this is tight.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and play it.
They haven't
I'm
even
gonna
just
go
got
buy
to
it.
peddle their own product. They can actually put a character sheet on it to make it more functional because they know the product's good.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Good men.
That's how to do a fucking. Oh,
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And so this is why they win, because I think the way they support their community, the way they make their products, and as well their Kickstarters are fucking great.
Yeah.
There's no competition here. They're just the best. I mean, the other two as well, with Just Insert Imagination and Modifius, I have to agree with some of their business practices. Like they're so spectacular, and it was very, very hard. This one, but Goodman Games this year, just every single thing that they've done for me is just. It's spectacular.
Yeah.
They've been amazing. Really. So yeah, Goodman Games. Congratulations.
Well done, good
Very
men.
well done. Yeah.
The next category is Worst Company, and the nominations are Catalyst Game Labs, Pinnacle Entertainment Group, and Wizards of the Coast. And the winner is Catalyst Game Labs. So yeah, we go from talking about how a company does it right to how a company can do it so wrong. Catalyst Game Labs can suck my dick, and then just please just drive into a volcano, because we very kindly got sent Shadowrun 5th edition by a listener, Gary, who's a very cool dude number one, isn't it, Nick?
Cool dude number one. Yeah.
Oh, that's actually not an award, but
godly cool dude.
And the binding on that book was terrible, right? And it started falling apart. And so I contacted Catalyst Game Labs, never got an email back. So I contacted them again, different emails, never got a reply. Finally did get a reply from one of them, and I said, okay, here's the problem. They said, can you send us a picture? Sent a picture, never got a reply back. Right, so I keep contacting them, never get any replies. Right, and that's basically it in a nutshell.
Piss takers.
You have a faulty product, you can go and fuck yourself.
Especially one at that price.
Yeah. Oh, it's very expensive. So the thing is, if you have a faulty product, Catalyst Games will just tell you to go fuck yourself. They want you to go and buy another one.
They want your money. That's all they want.
Second of all, the way that they make their products nowadays, the 5th edition rulebook is amazing. Fantastic product. And some of the adventures that they do, fantastic product. But the way they make their other products, like their decks of cards that they make, are kind of like they're trying to be Wizards of the Coast.
Right, gotcha. And isn't the starter box pretty average as well? The
starter box is fucking pathetic. Yeah. And all of their products that they're trying to make, they you know how like D&D nowadays, like it's kind of like they're trying to they'll make products to waste your money, like like the tarot card deck or whatever it's called. They'll make shit that you don't need on purpose. On purpose, yeah.
But they make you want to buy it.
And that's exactly what Catalyst Game Labs are doing. They're looking at what Wizards are doing, and they're just trying to fucking do the same thing.
Screw them, guys.
I just think there's only one thing worse than being the big corporate fuckhead, and it's taking a beloved thing like Shadowrun and trying to be Coca-Cola. Do you know what I mean? It's fucked up. Yeah. And then being that corporation that doesn't speak to people when they've got a faulty product as well.
Yeah. Shame on you, Catalyst.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, shame on you, mate. Go take that award and fuck off out of it.
The next category is Best RPG Artwork. And the nominees are GenLab Alpha by Modifius Entertainment, Tales from the Loop by Modifius Entertainment, and GenLab Alpha by Modifius Entertainment. And the winner is Tales from the Loop by Modifius Entertainment.
Yeah.
Well, simply, the reason behind this is because Tales from the Loop was born from artwork.
Yeah, well, that game was a game that was, like you said, it was actually born from artwork, and we think that for that very reason, we think it should win, because the artwork not only inspired a whole RPG, but it also is ever so slightly more original than GenLab. That's it.
I mean, obviously the GenLab art is great.
Let's be honest, across the board, they make good art, all of the guys.
Yeah. They're all amazing, but
the GenLab art is great, but just because Tales from the Loop was born from someone else's artwork is fantastic. And as I was saying earlier, it blew our mate Ryan brain so much that we all clumped together as our RPG group, and we actually purchased Tales from the Loop for Ryan, so he could play it. And we haven't seen him that excited about a game in so long, and with the potential to actually run it himself, and he was just so captivated, and he loves it, and we love it.
It's really like sort of 80s sci-fi. It's just got kids looking at these weird machines and stuff like this, and it's just this amazing stuff that's like these bizarre sort of sci-fi contraptions that you've and like I've never seen that type of machine in anything else, really. I mean, I'm sure that people can give examples, but I would highly recommend go and check out the artwork for Tales from the Loop and just have a look at it, because the that artist, who I forget his name because we're incompetent, is just amazing, and it's very, very original type of artwork. It has this sort of like almost photorealistic quality to it that gives it an uncanny valley type feel.
But speaking of this thing, we haven't seen it in a different RPG before. All of it looks just really fresh. It's like, this is, most artwork you see, you could be like, oh, I've, that reminds me of this, or I've seen this before, but this is done in a better way, or this is done in a worse way. Whereas everything of this is just like, I've actually never seen this before. It's like, there's similarities in like just maybe the humans involved in the picture. But other than that, it's like all the mechanisms and mechanics in the background. It's just like, this is fresh to me. I've never seen this, so it was just that bit more captivating.
Yeah.
I think.
Incredible.
And the next category is Worst RPG Artwork. And the nominees are Vampire, The Laws of the Night by White Wolf Publishing, The Code of Sojo and Shohun by Simon Burley, and lastly, Savage Worlds, Core Rules and Companions by Pinnacle Entertainment. And the winner is The Code of Shoujon. Oh God. The Code of Sojo and Shonen by Simon Burley.
Okay, so Nick is terrible at pronouncing that.
Yeah, sorry about
But
that.
it was The Code of Shoujo and Shonen by Simon Burley.
By Simon Burley.
So yeah, it's a game that I actually interviewed this bloke about at the Anime Con, right?
Yeah.
But all he did the whole time, I tried to get out of him what the game was and how it worked, and he said, "Oh, it's a 2D6 system, right? But yeah, I used to work for Wizards of the Coast back in the day, right? And I made a game, a superhero game, and then Marvel fucked me in the ass, and they made their game, and then suddenly nobody cares about Simon Burley, and so yeah, go yeah, motherfuckers." And I've still got the evidence, I've still got the interview somewhere, so if anybody thinks I'm talking shit, I can play it at some point. But no, realistically, and he goes, but yeah, so you know, Marvel can go fuck themselves. They knew I was bringing mine out, but they just fucked me. And I was like, so about the game, and he's just like, yeah, we'll get to the game. We'll get to the game, but fuck Marvel. Anyway, about the artwork in the book. He goes, he shows me he's got these games called The Code, right? They all use the same system. And he goes, anyway, I'm making an anime one called The Code of Shoujo and Shonen. And, yeah, like, the only reason... He doesn't speak like this, but he goes, the only reason I haven't released it yet is because I can't find any artwork for it. I'm using stock art. And he goes... So, literally, what he's done, right? He said that there wasn't any anime stock art available on RPG Now, right?
It's bad.
It's really bad. So what he's obviously done, and you can tell when you look at it, is he's bought the first anime artwork that popped up. So there's nothing wrong with using stock art. There is nothing wrong with it. But if you buy a bunch of stuff that has mismatching styles that do not fit together, i.e. if you buy the first stuff that pops up, you know, I'm not saying anything about his game, it might be brilliant, but the artwork is fucking terrible in this.
It's disgustingly terrible.
Is it really? Appalling.
It's none of it fits together. It's all different artists and all different styles.
Mm-hmm. It's like the kind of stuff you do in school. You know, when you just start.
When you're 3 years old and you got some crayons.
I know. I mean, like, you know, when either it depends how computer literate you are. I suppose for us it was at least in secondary school when you just start realising that you can kind of do some Photoshop stuff in Paint.
Yeah,
you know, when
like
you
a man.
you have to you remove the background of something and then you just paste it over the top of other things to make it look like they're standing together.
You know what it reminds me of? In year 6, when we were about 10. Me, James, and a guy that we knew, right, I won't mention him by name, we created a character, called, we created a bunch of characters called the Nitro Ninjas, right? And it reminds me of that. It reminds me of the Nitro Ninjas. And they were pretty bad. And I might like release... Because I could remember how to draw them. And
Find it.
Yeah. But the thing is, it reminds me of that. And it's like, all the artwork's pretty bad. And like, okay, it sounds like we're being mean. And I suppose we are. But all we're doing here is we're being honest.
Yeah, and we're not talking about the game. We're talking about the artwork.
Yeah, because he's saying that the game you can pick up and play in 10 minutes, blah, blah, blah. This is an award for worst RPG artwork. And hands down, it fucking wins. And I will say to anyone listening to this, yeah, okay. Please, by all means, come at me. Tell me that I'm being mean, but go and look at it. For fuck's sake, go and look at it, and do him a favour. Buy it. It's only £2 or something like that for the PDF. Go and buy it and look at the artwork and tell me I'm wrong.
Without having a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Just actually, I'll tell you what. If you're ever feeling down, buy it and have a laugh.
The next category is Best Soundtrack for Role Playing, and the nominees are Argonath and Isagrim, Foreign Fantasy by Celtic Wraith Records, Versus Music Volume 2, aka Volume 2 Epic Legendary Intense Massive Heroic Vengeful Dramatic Music Mix by Versus Music Official, and Fallout OST by Bethesda Softworks. And the winner is Argonath and Isagrim, Foreign Fantasy by Celtic Wraith Records. Fucking hell, man. You had to nominate the one with the stupid title.
No. Okay, so before we go into the actual winner, the reason for my nomination for that, or the versus music, was because we used it like, I don't know, at least 20 times, you know, minimum.
more. Yeah,
like,
mate. Is that the one when it's like the guy standing on the front and it's all just like...
Yeah, so we used it when it was just the trio, before our RPG group expanded and got big and everything, all this blossomed. When it was me, Harrison and Sean, we used it every single session. And then when we began, and then we started using other systems, that was just on in the background. Like, tons. We used it so many times. And...
It was great because on Roll20 they had this feature because we just used to play over the internet. On Roll20 they had this feature where you could play music. So I used to DJ this music while we were playing, and I used to put on like sad music and stuff like this. But we pretty much put on this Volume 2 intensive, massive music, heroic, vengeful, sad, epic music while we were playing, right?
Yeah.
And it is some proper epic shit, and it is really quite good. But it's like. It's a mix. It's just
other
a mix.
people's music come together, which is fantastic. Like, you know, I love it.
I'm glad this YouTube guy's done that. Like, thanks for doing it. And check out their channel.
But
this and Fallout 1 is great, obviously, but I felt like this Argonath and Isengrim thing is really fucking cool, because what they've done is it's two guys that make dungeon synth music, and obviously we're really into our OSR games at the moment, Nick, and this really, really fucking captured my attention. And I said that, like, to be fair, this is a nomination I made, and you two haven't really listened to, but I said if you listen to it, you will agree. Oh yeah, James listened to it. Because this is proper old school shit. It's just two guys that have made this shit on it's a split album, and they've made this shit on their keyboards, right, and just made this fucking like really epic music in their bedrooms, and like I assume, and then like they've made this really epic sounding music using old school instruments, recorded it and released it as an album on a tape, right, with like hand drawn, pencil drawn artwork, right, and then you've got like, and they only released 5 of them,
right,
because
they need to talk to Goodman Games. They would lap that up.
It's proper good stuff, and the music is genuinely really fucking good as well, and both albums tell a story as well.
Nice.
One of them's Irish and one's German, and it's just this spectacular music that I think would work for any fantasy game, but specifically I think it would be properly cool if you were playing an OSR game and then you put it in a tape player and press play, because it would just give such a good feeling to it. And I was just like, I was really taken aback by this. I mean, loads of people are going to be like, where the fuck have you been? This has been around for years. But I was taken aback by the fact that people were still producing music on tapes and CDs that you can buy. That was just like this proper old school stuff that was just I've played this music on my keyboard, come and buy it, and I'm just like, yeah, cool, man. That's like, I know it sounds patronising, but it's quite adorable. It
feels so cool. I love it.
The thing that I thought about this is that, like I said, the versus music and Fallout OST, you know, that's all other people's music put together. Yeah. So, and this is just theirs.
Yeah.
So
my nomination's scratched from a game.
Yeah,
and that's original music that people have put time, effort into.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the reason, you know, although, you know, we love the others as well, this is just way more deserved, because it's
hard work. Yeah, it's wicked.
So well done, Argonath and Isengrim.
And the next category is Best GM Screen, and the nominees are Tales from the Loop by Modifius Entertainment, Lankmar GM Screen for Savage Worlds, Pinnacle Entertainment Group, and Call of Cthulhu 7th Edition Keeper Screen by Chaosium. And the winner is Call of Cthulhu 7th Edition Keeper Screen by Chaosium.
I love it. It's what I love about this screen is it's not only do you get the screen, it's what you get with it. You get so much more content with it for the price. You get full adventure. You get maps. You get or it might even be 2 adventures. You get so much extra stuff with the screen, along with a decent screen. It's nice and thick, 3-panel folding, almost like a landscape kind of feel to it. It's quite low, isn't it? Packed full of information, but I just think you get so much bang for your buck with this product, and you generally do get a lot of decent stuff. Just the printed colour maps alone that double up with the story that you get with it are great, and I just think, you know, they went the extra mile with this one. It was my first ever GM screen I ever bought, and I was thoroughly impressed with it. I think it's a very, very good product at a reasonable price.
The thing that I also like about it is how diverse the screen itself is, because it's just a setting, right? It doesn't give out any sort of monsters or any creature or anything. It's just a dark, eerie setting.
It's a landscape, isn't it? Yeah.
So you can sit it down, sort of any game, because at some point, maybe some point, depends what game you're running, but at some point maybe a dark and dreary thing will happen. So it just fits with.
Oh, totally.
more
Yeah,
than-
there's no logos on the front. There's no, you know, none of that branding. It's just a cool picture, dark, mysterious picture, and then it's a cracking product.
Well, because I know that we are using. Well, we're using it for Gotham, right? But I could, and it's got a couple of 1930s Explorers on it, but it's not in your face.
No.
So yeah, you could totally use it for fucking Solomon Kane. You could use it for like we're doing with Gotham. Before my Shadowrun screen turned up, I used it for Shadowrun.
Yeah.
Not because the picture's fitting necessarily, but because it's not an in-your-face type screen. And I was pretty pleased with it. And like I said, the maps, you got 2 adventures. You got the battle maps, well not battle maps, but the town maps for the adventures that you need in there. And all of that, I think when it first came out, you're probably not going to get it for this now, but when it first came out, it was 25 quid.
Yeah.
And the information that you got on the back is all the shit you need for Call of Cthulhu too.
Yeah, the information actually on the screen is great.
Yeah, it's
Perfect,
really good.
perfect.
Really, really good. And the next category is Worst GM Screen. And the nominees are Hackmaster 4th Edition by Kenzar and Company, GURPS 4th Edition by Steve Jackson Games, and Trail of Cthulhu Keeper's Screen by Pelgrim Press. And the winner is Hackmaster 4th Edition by Kenzar and Company.
Okay, so
Oh, Nelly.
when we were talking about this the other day, I said to James, because we were discussing the winners and who should win, right?
Yeah.
And James said I haven't seen the Hackmaster one, so which one do you think should win? And I said, okay, just tick the Hackmaster one as the winner, right? Because although you haven't seen it, just trust me, right? So I'm just going to get it out now.
Oh my God.
I did Google it to back up my.
It's fucking stupid.
It's the most convoluted thing you've ever said.
It's fucking shit. I don't even know how you're supposed to learn that. You have to learn to use that by itself.
Yeah.
Look.
Oh
look
wait,
at that shit.
do they have a ruler at the top, right? So you have to position it in certain ways.
I think it's I don't even know what it is, mate. To be honest with you.
Oh my god, this is disgusting.
It's alive.
See that there? That's the that's an alignment chart as well, so you can track people's alignment throughout the game,
I
which
could
is
find the
it's
page.
quite.
Oh, yeah.
It's a handy tool. So
it was flat.
if people are like acting out of alignment, but then you have to fold it away to use different shit anyway. So what's the point? And not only that, but like you have to mark it. So if you folded it, all the markings would go off.
This is stupid, right? Because this is basically they've tried to make a GM screen that doubles up as a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gimmicky, but it's overcomplicated.
It's
That's
ridiculous.
the problem.
And so like if you're not using certain parts of information, little panels fold out.
If no one's ever seen this, can you just look it up, right? Because you literally.
We'll take a picture of it as well.
It's
you put it
fucking.
away
I mean, you just folding it
I
away.
don't know how to put it away properly.
Yeah.
All right. Just look it up, right? It's a massive gimmick, but it's hideous and heinous. Imagine getting at the table and just going, I'm just going to set this up. But then,
Sorry, boys. Wait a minute. I need to find it.
and you'd just be like, you know, sometimes it's difficult, depending on how much space it is. You've got your GM screen set up in front of you, and then like
You've got all your little printouts.
yeah, and then you've got your pieces, everything behind it, and then sometimes you've got players right next to the screen. Right?
Yeah.
You would fucking take their eye out, give them paper cuts, knock shit over, knock drinks, knock stuff. You'd just be like, sorry, I just got to fold this out. Sorry, can someone help me lift my 3 pads in front of me off? And then, but you can't shoot the notes. So it's just be like, there'd be so much planning involved. You had to like get like a crane, get some pulleys involved.
mate.
You know what I mean?
If you had anything behind it would get knocked over.
Yeah, and after all
not-
that faff, imagine if he was like, "Oh no, it's in the book actually."
you know, part of me thinks it was a big joke.
yeah,
Because I can't understand how.
for a laugh.
Yeah, because
it's not practical at all.
the thing about it is that it's not, it's not practical at all, and I think they were taking the piss out of D&D.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can get the bit. Say there was 2 flaps, right? One flap down there, like to the floor, so it's behind the screen.
That would be cool.
That would help because you got some
But
extras.
you know,
but that is just out.
When I started
control.
reading into Hackmaster, I was like, okay, there's a lot of stuff I need to remember for this, so I'm going to need the GM screen.
Yeah,
and
well,
so
yeah.
when I bought it and it arrived, I was like, what the fuck is
this?
But you know the worst crime about it is that's the most expensive RPG product I own, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah, and I'm never going to use it.
More than the book.
And he's
Yeah.
bought box sets. Like,
Yeah.
he's got box
I
sets.
didn't know it was that expensive. Jeez.
So it cost me £60.
Whoa. Saying that, though, how much did I get my old Hackmaster book for? Hackmaster stuff's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow, there you go. That's the most expensive
I
gimmick
suppose
you're
that's-
ever owned.
That's singular product as well.
Yeah. So, yeah, wow.
New award goes to.
Funny, though.
I'm glad you've got it. Though.
It is
it's
a
definitely
laugh.
worth saying I own it.
I don't know if
Well, I
it is.
don't
And it's in pretty good condition, though.
I hate it.
I hate it so much.
That's another thing to be like, do you need a laugh? Check this out.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if you need something just to confuse an attacker, just shout that at him.
Imagine a new like getting a new GM that's never GM before in their life. They really want to get into it. And you're like, hey guys, try this game.
Oh yeah,
Just
you
passing that.
can't GM without one of these, mate. Just
Imagine that, you know, like
Must have, bruv.
yeah. And then, oh, sorry, just a second. I need to look this up. Half an hour later.
Just right.
just awful.
What's this thing do? Yeah. Okay. Well deserved that one. Okay.
So the next category is Best Free RPG. And the nominees are Harry Potter and the Tabletop RPG by hproleplay.com, Saga of the Goblin Horde by Richard Woolcock, and Fallout Pen and Paper by Jason Mikal. And the winner is Harry Potter and the Tabletop RPG by hproleplay.com. Why did this win?
Because it's great.
Okay, next one.
Fair enough.
No, we had a great time with this, and what I really enjoy about this is kind of like the elegance of the system. Nick and I played a very enjoyable session of this. Didn't
So
we?
much fun. Yeah.
And
Boglins.
I think it works really well. The way the skills are calculated and things like this is really elegant. I remember going through this with a new player as well. It's one of those ones where you look at it and you go, okay, that makes perfect sense, because you start out and your character knows fuck all, because it's like, okay, all your skills are calculated very simply. It's like, dark arts is calculated by your this stat plus this stat, and it's like, okay, so you don't actually have any academic knowledge in that. So if you were to try and do it, it's just you're rolling these two stats added together. That makes sense. And then as the game goes on, your academic knowledge is added to it by doing classes and things like this, and it just, the way it works is exactly how you would expect it to work. And you so rarely get an RPG that is just like, well, this is pretty perfect out the box, even though there isn't a box because it's on the internet.
And luckily, it's just so easy to get into because it's Harry Potter universe, isn't it? There's no real explanation as to, oh, this is the set and this is all that. You may be doing things differently, but ultimately, it's that's the universe you're running because that's the name of the bloody game.
Yeah, usually if you're playing that, you're playing it with a bunch of people who know it. I mean, Nick, you're not the biggest fan of it, but everyone knows a little bit. Everyone knows enough.
I don't mind HP. I've read the books and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not a mad fan, but yeah, I enjoy it.
I am a mad fan.
I loved it.
And my daughter's a mad fan and she loves it.
Yeah, we jumped into it and just instantly had a
So
great
good.
time.
So good.
It's well deserving. All the spells, I think, are perfectly represented in there as well.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I think they are very well represented in it. And it's like I enjoy the freedom, and it's just like you can try any spell under the sun, right? And you just look at the spell list or explain, and then we'll choose from the. That's how I did it. Explain what you want to do, then I'll pick the most appropriate spell. It's like, okay, so in that case, you're gonna want to do this spell, so give it a go. And then it's just roll the dice. If you succeed, even though you haven't got any, no training in it, then you succeed, and it's just cracking because of that.
Yeah, very, very good. I really enjoyed it. So I think it's a very well-deserved winner of best free game, because I recommend anyone play this, even if you're a complete noob. You would totally understand it.
And the next category is Best Non-Conventional Tabletop RPG. And the nominees are Made RPG by Sunset Games and Starline Publishing, Mutant Year Zero Gen Lab Alpha by Modifius Entertainment, and Call of Cthulhu by Joel Sparks. And the winner is Made RPG by Sunset Games and Starline Publishing.
Yes.
Bit of Maid.
Bit of Maid.
Bit of Maid. Love a bit of
We
Maid.
do like Maid, don't we?
Yeah, Maid's great.
Maid is great.
Yeah, I mean, we had such a great time with this game. It's just utterly fantastic. It's talk about non-conventional.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. It's so wacky. You know, if any, we know that a few of our listeners watch anime, right? But the wackiness and the funness of anime, right, in an RPG, it's great because you just chuck it all out there. First time we played it, and I played it as well. I was so excited. I sat on there like a little child, like at the table with a grin on my face, and we're like, "Yeah, this is great," because it's just mad funny, mad silly.
See, where this wins over other anime RPGs, and I'm saying anime with air quotes, right, is because you get games like Random Anime or fucking, I don't know, other anime RPGs, is that it goes for a genre, right? And there are anime RPGs out there, Western ones, that assume that anime is a genre.
Right.
Whereas this goes for like the comedy cartoonish aspect of anime, right? And it does go for a specific type of anime, right? And that's where it wins, because it knows it's for audience, it knows what it's fucking doing, and it goes for that, right? And it's made by somebody who clearly has a love for that specific type of anime, the comedy anime. And yeah, and it really, really nails it. It really does it well. And there are other games like that too, you know. But this one really, really, absolutely nails it. And I think it's because it comes straight out of Japan.
Yeah.
And was translated from Japanese. That it's got a specific flavour of weirdness that a Westerner couldn't do.
Yeah. I know.
That, like some of the items.
Random items table.
Yeah, like
that.
remember
that 666 table.
Yeah, like one of the items was that seed that you chuck it on the floor, and a big like two greased up like gay dudes come out and like they're now your minions, and you can like get them to obey your any command. And like there was that other one that was I believe it was like it was a grenade. You chuck it into a room, and suddenly that room is like it becomes a jungle.
Yeah, no, that was it. That's what you in one of our games we had it. As soon as it was sort of let off, or however it was manifested, it was just an enormous entanglement of just this jungle.
Yeah, and like that was how like a lot of encounters went down. Was just like I think you went into this room, there was a lion, and you just chucked the grenade in, and then it was just like, well, that's that encounter dealt with. And I'm like, well, it's not really the encounter dealt with, because you've now got to get through a jungle
With a lion in it.
Yeah, and then it's like its home territory. Yeah, I mean, it's just for comedy. And what I like about that game is it made me think about GMing in a different way.
Yeah.
Because we played 3 sessions of it. The first one, right, we were dealing with small shit and big shit, right? Second one, we were dealing with big shit. Third one, small shit again.
Yeah.
Because when that game flourishes, when you have to roll for the small things.
Oh, I loved it. Dressing up that dungeon
Yeah,
was the funniest thing I've ever done.
the third session that we did, right, was all about this lich that wanted to go legit, and he wanted to get these two business people to invest in him, and in order to do so, he had to dress up his dungeon to look like a regular house, and that he was just a businessman. And this meant that what the players had to do was sort of serve tea and things like this, and getting people to roll for that, and then fucking up, like that's where it excels, because then you fuck up, you get stressed, and then bad things happen.
Do you remember me? I that happened to me. I can't remember what happened, but before I knew it, I'd rolled, and then next thing you know, I'm in a rocket going towards the sun.
Oh yeah.
Stress explosions.
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful game.
It's very good.
It's very.
I had a lot of fun. I'll tell you.
It's elegant. It's very elegant, and it's very, very well done.
And the English translation is done amazingly. And kudos to the one who did it, because he translated all 3 into one.
He translated all of it, then copyrighted the text, and then nicked it and made all his own games.
Yeah, it's a bit shady.
Shady guy, but
Good game.
well, obviously it wasn't originally written by an English bloke,
He
was
just
it?
wrote it. Yeah, he just translated it. Okay, well deserved, mate. Right, so the next category is Best Actual Play, and the nominees are The Delvers by Burned FX, Gartar, the ICRPG remix by The Murder Hobo Show, and finally the Wild Die AP by The Wild Die Podcast. And the winner is The Delvers by Burned FX.
So the reason that we felt like the Delvers should win this one is because essentially there's nothing like this out there. There just isn't.
Yeah.
These guys basically do it's an edited actual play of their Labyrinth Lord sessions. But what's Labyrinth Lord? Labyrinth Lord is a OSR game. Thank you for asking, Mickey Mouse. Yeah, essentially Labyrinth Lord is an OSR game that revives old school D&D and makes it playable. And they play Labyrinth Lord, and it's a bloke, his 2 kids, and his wife, and they play it and they edit it into a really, really listenable state where everything's super fast, quick, listenable, has sound effects, music, ambient sounds, and
A lot of thought's gone into it.
and a lot of thought's gone into it, and it's really, really enjoyable to listen to, and their personalities are so fucking great as well. There's one episode that called Bullywug Law that is one of the best episodes, because there's a point where one of his daughters just starts pretending she knows about all of the monsters that they're fighting, and she's just talking absolute crap. And the DM knows, but he doesn't let on. And so his missus is like going, she goes, what the hell are bullywugs? And she goes, oh yeah, bullywugs are these, they sometimes grow up to 10 feet tall, their necks can extend like E.T., and they have fangs. They have fangs, but then those fangs in turn have fangs. And then she's just talking absolute rubbish. But they're just like little frogs that can kind of eat people. And when they finally meet them, all of the party like find out what they really like. And it's just like the daughter just pretends that she knows, and it's like it's so brilliant.
Good.
It's so brilliant.
They've
It's
been going
such-
for ages, haven't they? Since 2012.
yeah, and he has write-ups on his website. If you want the full actual play with the unedited, you can read the write-up. But then if you want the edited podcast version with the sound effects and music, then you've got that. And the website itself is really cool as well, and it has like his notes and thoughts and things like this. They're utterly fantastic. It's so worth a listen. So they definitely win, because in a year where the Adventure Zone finished and literally had me in tears at the end, this actually was genuinely better than that, and it's fantastic.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
Well done.
And the next category is Best Setting, and the nominees are Vampire the Masquerade by White Wolf Publishing, Mutant Year Zero, Gen Lab Alpha by Modifius Entertainment, Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing Game by Games Workshop, and the winner is Vampire the Masquerade by White Wolf Publishing.
Wait. Yes. Yeah, we love it.
Okay, can I chime in first on this? I think the reason the reason we decided on this, for me personally, was because of the role-playing aspect, and it changed me as a role player, because it's so heavy on the role-playing, so you have to do only what your character wants. You know, I used to RPG as I was told as a power gamer, because I know that if I did this I would be better at it. You know, as you play through a computer game, get the best, biggest and baddest stuff and you'll be better at everything. So that's how I used to play, and that's how a lot of people play, which is fine. But this turned me on like my head, and now every character I have is I just play it as the character, and it's just like, look, yeah, but the character wouldn't know that. I know that, but the character wouldn't know it, so I'm going to do it like this. So that's what it kind of touched me, and it was just really, really immersive because of that fact.
Yeah, and I think that system sort of like really, really helps that along, and I think that helped us to get immersed in that world a lot. One of the reasons I particularly like that setting is because previously to all of this, I would kind of get a book, like a role-playing book. I would take little bits of the setting, but I would ultimately make my own.
Yeah.
Pathfinder, I wasn't even aware that it had an established setting until recently. I didn't even know that.
Well, Pathfinder.
Yeah.
What
do you mean?
Yeah, like apparently it's got its own setting. Like it's got like, I know you can buy setting books, like alternate setting books, but
right.
I thought there was I think there's a default one. See, I mean that's live reaction. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Okay,
that's my point.
Right. Yeah.
And then like this one came along, and as I was reading the book, I was like, the point of this is the setting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
and that was what really changed me too, because I was like, as a GM, published settings are all right. It's okay to not make up your own shit, you know. And this is so good because of all the history, all of the stuff that like, you know, the laws and the sort of conflict and tension between all the different types of vampires and all of that. That's what makes the game.
The hierarchy, the social levels of everything. It was just so cool because we was just pretending. Well. Yeah, we just got away with that. And I brought one of my silliest characters ever, and it actually worked. Yeah, and it was the fun of it was having to you guys having to rein it in meant that you had to be a bit more creative with the way that you played. Yeah. It wasn't just being a motor hobo anymore. Not at all.
It was about you had to sort of be careful.
That was so cool. The masquerade, literally, when we had to keep the rules of the masquerade and the repercussions from just doing, like, you're like, I'm a vampire, wicked, I'm going to go out and bite some stuff, it's going to be fun, that's what vampires do. And then before you even, it's like, ooh, wait a minute, hold on, I've just revealed myself to someone. Shit.
I think it was fantastic the way that Harrison introduced us to it, because realistically, there's some bits that we should have read up on. But instead, he played it as, okay, we're completely afresh, so we're actually learning, and it helped us learn about the game as well. So as a result, right, you know, because it was just like, okay, so we are aware of the portrayal of vampires, because they are portrayed still in films and books and stuff, because that's kind of like how they've been let out, but, you know, they've still kept the masquerade and still kept it as this is all fake and all made up. But so as soon as we got turned, we did exactly that, what Nick said, and went, oh yeah, I'm just going to bite stuff, oh, this is awesome. But then it was just like, but now we're getting punished, we're getting told off, and it's just like, okay, so now we understand it. And it was genuine learning, and we all really, really, really delved into our characters, and we were them. When we played it, we were them, and it was some of the most enjoyable role-playing that I've had with everyone, because it was just so deep. We didn't do this we didn't meta. Not all of us. At all. Because, well, not that we couldn't. We technically could, because, you know, we understand some vampire stuff from other films, but we didn't meta at all, because we are our characters and we will play them.
And we coined the word blood snipe.
Yeah. But I think it all comes down to the setting, man. I mean, that setting is just all that role playing was all because it was so fucking immersive, and that all comes down to it being such a fantastically written setting. And there's a reason that some people for some people that's their main game.
And the next category is worst setting, and the nominees are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness by Palladium Books, Street Fighter: The Storytelling Game by White Wolf Publishing, and Wraith Through From Enchantment to Fulfillment by Manion Press. And the winner is Street Fighter: The Storytelling Game, White Wolf Publishing.
Same guys.
See, I keep seeing people online saying, "Oh, I had a great time playing this." I get the impression that these people haven't a fucking clue what the Street Fighter world is actually like.
Or they played it when they were children.
Yeah, or comedy. I don't know, but the thing is, right, is that there's no matter how you fucking spin this, the Street Fighter world is a fucking stupid world, right?
Well, it's dumb. The whole premise of why they're fighting is dumb.
Look, and I know there are other things out there that are like a fucking stupid, like Wraith Through, for example, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was bad because they, you know, took that and they did such a terrible job with the setting when Palladium wrote it down, because they just didn't include much in there. Yeah. But if you did it right, it would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the trouble. So that's why that didn't win. But the Street Fighter storytelling game, even if you did it by the letter, it would be fucking awful.
Yeah, there's no way to get that right, because the story that it's actually manifested from is whack anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's why it's such a terrible idea. Yeah. Like, who sat down and thought, this would make a great RPG? Okay, whatever. There are people out there that like the system. fine. Okay, if you like that system for beating each other up and all of that, whatever. But the setting is abysmal. There's no two ways about it. Every single fucking story in a Street Fighter game ever has been fucking terrible. In the third strike, everyone just decided to fight each other because basically the storyline for third strike was, oh yeah. And then they fight.
Want a piece of me?
Yeah, that's and then you've got like the films. The films are awful. The fucking film storyline for the second film, a film which I loved dearly when I was a kid, right? The whole thing could have been solved if M. Bison bought a gun. Like, that's it. And that's the central conceit of the Street Fighter fucking setting, right? Is that people solve all their problems by kicking each other, and that's the trouble. Is that okay? So you see the bad guy and you're like, right, let's get him, and you're legging it after him, right? You're legging it after him. I'm really gonna kick this fool to death when I get to him. And it's like, mate, there's a gun shop over there.
I'm Street Fighter.
You remember when we did the podcast about it and we were talking about how bad it is, right? And we were like, oh, you can play manager characters. Who would do that when you can be Ryu? I'd play the fucking
Me
manager
too, yeah,
because he'd be more likely to go and buy a machine gun.
Yeah. It's like someone turning around going, you know what needs to be made into an RPG? It's got so much depth. Used to be a computer game now, but RPG, I've got a good idea for it. What's that? Pong.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'd be like, and he'd be like, you sit down, there's three of you at the table, and you'd be like, oh, I call left paddle, I call right paddle, and then the other guy,
I'll be the scorer.
yeah. Oh, mate, right, you're absolutely right. Honestly, I would say that I would enjoy a Pong RPG more.
And the next category is Best Adventure, and the nominees are Intrigue in the Court of Chaos, DCC RPG, Goodman Games, Wonderland No More, crossed with Stranger Things, Homebrew Adventure by Harrison Hunt, using Wonderland No More by Triple Ace Games and Savage Wells by Pinnacle Entertainment. And lastly, Saga of the Goblin Horde Egg Hunt for Savage Wells by Richard Woolcock. And the winner is Saga of the Goblin Horde for Egg Hunt by Richard Woolcock. Yes. Oh man, how much fun did we have in this one?
Mate. That was one with the glider and the volcano.
Yes, it was.
And man.
Yeah, so the plot of this adventure, to keep it very brief, is that I think the chief of the village wants some big dragon eggs to make a big omelette.
Yep.
A dragon omelette.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
he tasks us to go get it.
And the thing is, you can't get into the dragon's lair unless you sort of glide in.
That's it,
so you're using experimental gliders to get in there. That's pretty much it. Yeah. And well, the reason that we picked this, I mean, Intrigue in the Court of Chaos is one of my favourite RPG adventures of all time. But the reason this wins is because I think anyone could enjoy this. Yeah. Intrigue has to be enjoyed by a specific type of person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing about Saga, like we mentioned earlier, is it's so versatile. This adventure, could be played by. It could be played by rapists and murderers if they wanted to act that way. It could be played by innocent school children if they wanted to play it that way. Or it could be,
Oh, you mean characters, not people?
Yeah,
I thought you meant like, let's get all these rapists and murderers together and let's
but if you wanted to bring this down to like a maximum security prison and play it, you totally could.
It would still work.
Yeah, this is like for one of the most versatile games, one of the most versatile adventures.
Yeah.
It's spectacular. Bring this down to a maximum security prison and play it today, because this is such a great adventure.
And then bring it to your kids the next day and play it with them.
And not to mention, I said the other day, Intrigue at the Court of Chaos is a fantastically written adventure.
Yeah.
But to get it right, I had to read it a couple of times, right? Because it's got a few complexities to it. Not much, but a few complexities.
It's because of the way they're written.
Exactly.
Well, that's what Goodman likes to do, and it's great. But yeah, you're right. It's a little bit more.
You've got to dissect it just ever so slightly.
Yeah. Whereas straight out the box with Saga.
This Egg Hunt one, right? I didn't even read it before I played it. I didn't even read it because it's written in such a beautiful way that it flows.
In such a way.
And I fucking I just got this, printed it off, no prep, and we just played it straight up. I think that just goes to show how brilliant the writing is on this. Yeah, so you don't need any prep, and fantastic. So I think that is one of my favourite adventures of all time, and it definitely deserves the award this year.
Absolutely.
Well done, Rich.
Yeah, well done, mate.
Well done.
My name's Alan Rickman, and I'm no, wait.
My name's also Alan Rickman.
No, I'm the real Alan Rickman.
No, wait, I'm Alan Rickman. But I'm not. No, wait.
No, no, I'm Alan
No,
Rickman.
shush, I'm Tabletop Twats.
All right.
This is just awkward.
No, shut up. And the next category is Hard Graft Award.
This is stupid.
It's from Nick and me to Harrison.
This is stupid.
Thanks. Shut up. Stop talking over her.
All right, sorry.
Next thing is Hard Graft Award. from me and Nick to Harrison. Thanks, Harrison.
This is kind of a stupid award though, because it's been written on the thing for like weeks. So I already know that you're giving me this award. But thank you very much. That's kind.
Yeah, but it's because you're our editor, not only for this but the other podcasts, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You put all the effort into it. You create these fantastic scenarios. You have been our main DM for our RPG group ever since it began. And you still kind of are at that podium. We're all taking turns now, and we're all going to sort of have a go. But you've been the main guy, so out of everything, you've put the most effort into not only our RPGing, but obviously the podcast as well, because you edit it.
Well, thanks very much, man.
Remove your nose from his bum and we'll continue.
Yeah, exactly. but just for a little bit more brown noses, and I want to say a big thanks to Nick.
No.
So thank you. This is the big thanks award. This goes to Nick.
Thanks,
So
mate.
thank you very much for paying for the hosting.
Oh, no worries.
That's I want to say thank you for that, because
Brilliant.
yeah, it means a lot, because without you,
I feel like a wealthy benefactor.
yeah, exactly. Without you, I would have to scrounge it from someone else.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. It's the least I can do to keep this great thing going, and it's
it's
a
awesome.
year and it's still going. So.
Exactly. And the last sort of brown
awards.
nose award
Yeah.
goes to James for the Welcome Aboard award.
I really liked that.
So welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard, buddy.
I mean, to be honest, anyone could have done that, but yeah, you
done
can.
it
You
really well.
entered.
You say
entered the
anyone.
podcast.
You say anyone could have done that, but you chose me.
Yeah,
so-
we chose you. Exactly.
We went for a lot of long discussion.
Yeah, long discussion. Should James come on or
Or
not?
do
And then
we
we
get
went.
a real pumpkin?
We real pumpkin with a face drawn on it, or James, and we went. Can pumpkins talk? And the answer was no. And so we went. Let's get James.
Yeah, exactly.
Turns out I am a pumpkin and I can talk.
There you go. So
It works.
everyone's a winner.
Right, but we've got one more real award to give out.
Yes.
So, this is the Industry Cunt of the Year Award for 2017. First nomination is Byron Hall for writing Fatal.
Next nomination is David Scott.
And the last nomination is Matthew, aka C++, for writing Hybrid.
And the winner is,
Drumroll, please.
for the Industry Cunt of the Year Award, Byron Hall.
It's your boy.
Oh, of course it is. Oh, God, what an
Yeah. There is no better, there's no more deserved winner than Byron Hall, man. I mean, the rage that he gave us in that fatal episode.
Not just that, right? But after doing extra research and stuff, there's so much hate for it.
Yeah.
So much hate for him. He's just disgusting.
He disappeared after that, though, didn't he? Nobody can get hold of him. I tried to get him for an interview on this podcast, and he's not doing it.
Changed his name.
Hopefully, he killed himself.
Understandably, though, we weren't exactly kind about him. James, don't say that.
What did you say?
Nothing.
Okay, I missed
No,
that.
we're going to gloss
Have to
over
listen
that.
back to that.
No, we don't.
Wow, James,
What is?
take it back. Just say I take that back.
What did you say?
Just say I take that back.
I take that back.
All right.
Okay, good. Right, so
I'm confused.
okay, don't worry about it. But anyway, the point is, he had some pretty disgusting views in that book, and then he says these views are not mine; they're the views of the fantasy world that I've fantasy written fantasy.
Fantasy.
So it's like
His world that he fantasizes over.
Yeah,
So they are.
And then he had those really gross drawings in there that he commissioned, and all of this, and like, he's a really sick bloke.
What is your anal circumference?
Good point. I haven't actually measured it.
Do you want to?
Depends on how the wind's
No,
blowing.
I don't want to measure it.
I'm surprised I don't know. I was brown nosing enough.
Yeah, he wrote a pretty sick RPG that made a lot of people feel a lot of bad things, and I think that he definitely deserves this award. So congratulations, Byron, for winning the Industry Cunt of the Year award. That's you, Byron. Well done, mate.
Well, that concludes our 3Ts Awards 2017, Jon.
Yeah, so the 3T RPG Awards 2017 has come to a close. I really hope you guys liked it. If you agreed or disagreed with our awards, then by all means, let us know.
Come at us.
Yeah, come at us. Let us know.
In a nice way, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Come at us with some flowers.
Yeah. Some nice words.
Thank you very much. What a year it's been.
In the future, you will be able to send a letter from anywhere on the planet. This is the future. This is the Electro Letter.
So this is Electro Letters, where we read your mail from the internet.
Yep.
And I asked you guys, right? Well, I actually, we forgot to put out a question, but I mean, it's probably good that we're keeping it short because those awards did take bloody forever. And I just said, what are your best gaming memories of this year? And we only had one. Knowingly says, running Bartington Halls for you lot.
What a sweet bloke.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? I mean,
Was fun.
we spoke about that on the podcast. He ran a sort of, I guess try to imagine ETU, but it's more like in Britain.
Poshos.
Yeah. So it's sort of like horror, school-based roleplay in a really posh English school. Yeah.
Imagine Biker Grove. Guys even remember that?
Yeah, I remember Biker Grove. Yeah.
Biker Grove,
but nobody that listens to this podcast
will ever know what Biker Grove
But do you guys have any highlights from the year? What are your favourite gaming memories? What was your favourite thing that happened this year?
Favourite gaming memories was... Oh, wait, was that this year or last year? Crap.
It's a hard one. I really enjoyed the one-shots this year. We've done a lot of one-shot stuff this year and a lot of short adventures, and like we had a few special events like your birthday and a few things like that, and some of them were some of the best games I've played. They were so much fun.
Yeah.
Intrigue at the Court of Chaos up there for me as one of my all-time favourite games. That was so good. But again, I really enjoyed the Harry Potter game. Something I didn't think I'd play, which I enjoyed.
Yeah. I liked that as well. I mean, that was a highlight for me because what I really liked was when that adventure was released. I think that Laura, she was obviously new to role playing, and I always like getting a newbie in on it. Yeah. And when her. When I did the artbot for that podcast, and I photoshopped people's faces, like I put your face on Ron Weasley's body, and I had her face on Luna Lovegood's body because she was playing Luna's sister.
That's right, yeah.
Her face was on that picture, right? And I think Laura was a little bit embarrassed to show people this podcast, right? Yeah. But then Millie, just my wife, went and just showed it to one of her mates anyway, and showed it to her mate Maz. And when Maz saw it, she was like amazed by it because I don't know what she thinks SoundCloud is, but she just went, "Your face on SoundCloud."
She's made it big time now.
Yeah. She was like, I don't think she thinks that just anyone can upload
anybody.
Shit to SoundCloud.
You don't even need an account.
So that was a good gaming memory, and I think for me, it's got to be like Vampire. Vampire as a campaign.
I was about to say it's got to be Vampire.
What, campaign of the year? Yeah, we're going to give a final award out for our own personal campaign of the year.
I think the awards are over. This is just gaming memories.
No, I'd have to agree with you. Some of the playing Fat Dad.
Fat Dad was a great character,
and this was how Harrison said. He said, "Okay, we are going to play this game, deadly serious, like by the book, right? And then any comedy moments are all going to be organic." And in fact, I mean, the amount of comedy moments were ridiculous, but all of it was organic because of the different, and because of the characters we had. It was literally all based around the characters and all the moments. It wasn't just conjured up, oh, let's do this because it'll be funny, let's do this because it'll be funny. It was just funny stuff happened because of how our characters were.
Yeah, but alongside emotional shit, exciting shit, there was some deep parts to it. There was, oh god, it was just cracking.
I don't know if I should keep this in the podcast, right? But there was a moment at a game I was playing at. Now I'm going to try and keep this vague and try so that nobody can get identified in this. This is actually quite a touching moment. But this was like, so I'm going to try and keep this vague. But I was at a public game I was playing at, and while I was there, the GM came up to me and advised me. He said, "This girl's playing, and she's like highly autistic, and she pretty much doesn't respond, and most of the time she's probably not even going to play the game and will just read a book." And I was just like, okay, cool, whatever. And he goes, yeah, so she's not going to respond. And there was a moment where my character, we just finished killing these monsters, right? And I go to an inn, and my character starts boasting about this, right? And I go, yeah, we were just on our boat, and we were killing these monsters. And you should have seen the size of them. They weren't small, but medium. And the girl starts cracking up. And I was just like, yeah, I did a cool thing there. He said she wasn't even going to respond, and I made her laugh. Like, I was just like, yeah, that was a pretty cool moment for me. I was really, really happy with that. And like, so I don't want to say what game it was, obviously, but
no, fair play.
Yeah, like, that was fucking cool. Like, that was a really good moment. But yeah, Nick, how about you, man? Memory of the year?
Memory of the year? Oh my god, just doing this, mate. This whole, like, you know, we're a year down the line now. I think we've evolved a lot, the podcast, since we first started, from our humble beginnings to where we are now at a professional level.
yeah.
But no, it's been
professional. Yeah,
I think just being a part of this. I know it's a bit sappy to say, but it is. It's this. I look forward to doing this. Opening up the hobby to me. I mean, I've never embraced a hobby so hardcore as I don't know about you boys. And just all the lovely people you get to meet that are on the same level as you. So just this whole, my favourite memory's been this, really.
Jesus Christ, the response from the DCC community recently.
Oh, wow.
It's just like, it really affirms what you're doing is worthwhile.
Yeah.
Because, you know, recently, when I was editing the most recent Foreign Beggars, it took me 3 times as long as it fucking should, because my computer kept crashing.
Oh, yeah.
And then fucking... It was really stressing me out because I was trying to get it done before Christmas, because I wanted people to be able to listen to it before Christmas and like have
enjoy
something
it over the holidays,
exactly. If they're stressing out, they're fucking, you know, making presents, or if they're having to wrap stuff up, or if they're in their car going to buy something, then they got something to listen to. Because I know that sometimes there's a drought of podcasts during Christmas, and I fucking hate it. So I was like, I wanted to get this out before then. And I was really stressing over it. And then when it came out, I was like, oh no! While I was doing it, I was like, is anyone even going to bloody listen to this anyway? Of course. And then when it finally dropped, and then loads of people did, and we got such a nice, kind response, and people were like, yeah, this is the shit and stuff like this. I was just like, that really affirmed everything, and everyone on the DCC community is so nice, because
makes it totally worth it.
Yeah, when you put stuff out there, people can be such dicks about it, and I sometimes enjoy that too. But like the fact that everyone was so lovely about it, like that, it really means a lot. So yeah, what a cracking year.
And he is the champion of the dungeon.
If you want to get in touch with us, then please do. You can do so by getting in touch at TableTopTwats@gmail.com.
On Facebook.com/TabletopT.
On Twitter, which is @TabletopTwats.
And obviously on G+, if you just go over, search for Tabletop Twats in Google+, you'll find it. And the Nerds International Community. We've got a great bunch of guys there.
Exactly. But obviously, while we're not doing this podcast, you know, that means that you're not gonna have anything to do, are you? Because there's bugger all else to do in the world. I looked outside earlier.
Yeah.
There's all wars and happening and that.
You're joking?
Yeah. So
right.
stay indoors, and I'll give you something to think about before the next podcast. Nick's got his gun.
That's right, boys.
Although before he gives you something to think about for the next podcast, if you would like to sling us a buck, please do so on Patreon.
Yeah, go over to Patreon, and that's patreon.com/TabletopTwats.
Yes.
Go over there and sling us a buck. But yeah, before the next podcast comes out, obviously I'll give you something to think about. You know, something to mull over.
Bridge over to the new year.
Yeah, bridge over to the new year and think about, so that you're not bored. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that thought is, unless you do laundry naked, you'll never really be caught up. Nick shot me. Okay, and you know what? That just leaves one thing to be said. You know, one thing
that actually, if you think about it, you know, in 2018, I think if we actually focus all of our attention on one thing, we can stop all the wars by becoming super powerful. But in order to become super powerful, what we need to do is sort of like connect together using all of our minds. And in order to connect our minds, we actually need to think of one singular thought and do this all at the same time by meditating out in a big field. And in order to do that, we need to focus on one thing, and that thing is
Chicken McBosh.
yes.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Those of you who got an invite, welcome to Nerd Prom.
No matter where in the world you are, we're all Nerds International. With the hyphen.